Hello and welcome. Friends, enemies, gather round. It's time for an actual real episode of Perhaps It's You. Your
Whoa.
favorite. What?
No, this is me being shocked that we're doing a real episode.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, well, except that it's not. I don't know what it was. You're like, except that I don't want to do it.
This is not a fake. I mean, I don't want to do it, but this is not a fake out.
Okay.
Just kidding. Mostly. Yeah, I mean,
Mostly.
yeah. Mostly kidding.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Hi to BD Wong. We haven't said hello to him in a bit. He's out
Hi,
there
BD
somewhere.
Wong. I assume BD Wong has stayed loyal, even though we haven't produced a real episode in months.
Yeah, I probably. I mean, he's as handsome as ever. I don't know why his taste would have changed, you know?
True.
No logic whatsoever. Don't look for it. So other important updates is we are well into spooky season by this point. It's pretty much over.
We're in the home stretch of spooky season, and thank Christ, because I am tired.
I'm worn out, everybody. So I wanted to let people know what we've been up to. We did go to the Jack-o'-lantern Spectacular at the Minnesota Zoo, which is one of our favorite events. They do it annually. It's thousands. It was 5,000 jack-o'-lanterns this year that are set up along a trail, and there's music and like fog machines, and it's literally they're like up in the tree. It's just a very immersive experience, super wholesome, very family friendly, not scary. There's not like things that jump out or anything like that.
No, it's a lovely time. Kids love it.
Yeah, it's really probably for children, but we love it so much. And even though it was raining this year, of course, it was like so beautiful that whole week, except the day we had tickets to go.
It was literally pouring rain. But, we are nothing if not dedicated to spooky season, so we went anyway.
And you know what? That was fine.
It was fine. That's like in the trees, so it's like a very wooded area, like the trail that it's on, and so it was not really raining on us much once we were inside. And I feel like because it was raining, some people stayed home and it wasn't like as busy as it normally is.
It was not as crowded. I would also like to shout out to the dudes that were selling apple cider donuts, but were closing up their stand, so gave us free donuts.
They were delicious too.
They were delicious.
They were fresh. They were fluffy. We each got one big apple cider donut. It was just exactly enough for our group. It was delightful.
If you are a single man listening to this podcast, which is hard for me to imagine, but it might be possible, and you are like, man, it's really hard to meet people these days. I hear you. Here is my tip. Start selling apple cider donuts and then give them away free.
If you see a group of women walking by, just say the phrase, "Do you want free donut?"
Free donut.
Because we screech to a halt.
We're like, oh, you have my complete undivided attention with the words free donuts.
Absolutely.
And they were only slightly insulted when I was like, it's fine to take free food from strange men, right? And they were like, oh, we're not creeps like that. And I was kind of like, whatever. Thank you.
Thank you for the donuts.
Thank you for the donuts.
Sir. It was lovely.
So that was a very good time. I always recommend that. Some of them were kind of random. I'm really haunted by one winter scene that had like a child playing in the snow, and there was like a cross or a crucifix, and then like two creepy snowmen watching on. Look, that pumpkin was scarier than anything we saw in the snowman, first of all.
I did not understand that one.
No. What the fuck? Artists that made that, please get in touch. I need answers. I tagged a picture of it to Rebecca Klingel, the author of Baraska. Like, there's inspiration for you here, because this is the scariest thing I've seen in a long time.
I love how artists interpret the theme. This year, the theme was like a year in Minnesota. A lot of interpretations of that were just the birds that are active in that season. There were so many bird pumpkins.
Lots of birds.
But
lots of bears.
Yeah, lots of animals just in general. But there were some really interesting ones. One that I saw in that news article but didn't see when we were on the trail was the people stuck in the car and stuck in the snowbank, which I thought was hilarious. So yeah, I just really love seeing how they interpret the theme.
I mean, there was a giant pumpkin, like, delicately carved of a snowplow, so
Hilarious.
it did it did really capture, you know, life
In
life in
Minnesota.
the
Yeah.
frozen north. So, yes, thank you to the Minnesota Zoo for putting that on every year. I think it is, like, $22 or something, but, I think it's which, it's not cheap, but you go if you're bringing, like, your whole family, but
Yeah.
I do think it's a very cool experience, and it's literally the only time I go to the zoo. Maybe one of these days I've gotta go because I wanna ride the carousel.
Yes, and we wanna walk on the new, like, elevated platform, and we wanna see the bird show. We got plans, it's just we never really make it out to Apple Valley.
We we never we'll have to, yeah, in spring or summer, we'll have to do a
A zoo.
zoo day.
That'd be fun.
Now, I know what everybody is waiting to hear about, and it's our second annual Spooky Train Day.
Choo
And I
choo!
Choo choo, motherfuckers! I have loved seeing people's pictures in our Facebook group of other people that were inspired to have train days where they went, either rode a train or they went to their local train museum. It's just like so wholesome and cute. I love it so much. So this year, we once again went to two train museums in an afternoon. We started at the Minnesota Transportation Museum, which is literally just trains. I don't know why they act like there's other forms of transportation there. There are not. It is on a like rail yard.
It's just trains. It's a weird name for it.
Samantha and I wore our sweatshirts that we bought last year for this event. So thank you to our patrons for funding our train museum Halloween sweatshirts.
Yes.
Very important. I
Yes.
also wore that to the zoo, so it gets used.
Yeah.
The volunteers were like shocked by our level of enthusiasm and dedication.
We brought some so last year it was just, the 2 of us plus friend of the pod, Rochelle. This year we brought some additional friends who were excited about Spooky Train Day, obviously.
I
Everyone wants in on Spooky Train Day, and so we roll up, just to an event that's, like, clearly for children, and we're hyped about trains, and the volunteers were delighted.
Samantha had made us stickers that said Spooky Train Day 2023 on them, and then it had like just a clip art of a train that said I love trains. And when we walked in, this woman was like, "Oh my god, what's Spooky Train Day?" And we were like, "This bitch,
This
you're at it right now. This is Spooky Train Day." And then she was like so enamored with Samantha's graphic design skills. Graphic design is her passion. Not to insult your stickers, but I don't know that they're like
They are extremely shitty. I put them together in, I mean, like 10 minutes. I made them with my Cricut. I didn't have any like regular sticker sheets, so they were literally labels. It was like a sheet of label paper. And
so what?
they were so
So
poor
what?
quality that by the end of the day, they were like, the ink was like rubbing off. Yeah.
This woman you might as well have painted the Sistine Chapel. She was like, I need to get your name, address, and phone number because I am coercing you to make stickers for the train museum now because obviously you are so talented and skilled
Yeah.
in the art of graphic design and sticker production.
Yeah, she insisted that I need to talk to quote the real Barb because there were 2 Barbs there. I don't know I don't know if other Barb knows that she's not the real Barb, but that was like some director or something. I have no fucking idea. I don't think I ever found the real Barb.
She really thought okay, because we are showing up with such enthusiasm. She thought we were much more familiar with like the goings on of the museum, like the staff and volunteer. No, we don't volunteer there. We don't know any of those
I come
people.
here once a year for this, so
It's literally the second time we've ever been there in our lives. I don't know what's happening. So that's very funny.
I mean, we were wearing stickers that said "I love trains," so I could understand her confusion.
It's not
Since
that
we
love
don't
trains,
actually
it's
love
just that
trains.
Samantha just loves lying to people, is what it is.
I just think it's really funny.
It's very funny. I appreciate that you find it as funny as I do because I'm not sure that many people would be like, let's just go to this event and enjoy it. That's hilarious. Like, in a way, it's like, let's go and like legitimately enjoy ourselves. What a funny joke. That's us, apparently. We did a scavenger hunt intended for children.
Mhm.
So we got enamel pins of boxcars for doing that. My good good point about this year's haunted roadhouse event that we were at is that we got to ride on a nicer train.
Yeah, it was a different train than
Everybody,
last year. There was more space. We were kind of cramped on the train last year.
we were just on like an old caboose. You do get to ride on an actual train. I think that's kind of wild, but whatever. Last year was just like an old caboose. This year was like an turn of the century, like at one point, like first class car. So it was like, like ornate wood, stained glass. It was very
An
fancy.
old
They
man
had
told
like
us all kinds of history about it, how it used to be full of cowboys. I wish it was
Samantha.
full of cowboys the day we were there, but he said they
Samantha
were
was
fresh
like,
out of cowboys.
"Show me the cowboys."
I'm
There was
listening.
like a historical reenactor who, of course, someone we were with knew because that's just how things go.
The most Minnesota
I
thing
didn't
ever.
I didn't question that at all. My disappointment with this year is that there was no old man pretending to be a hobo to teach us about hobo codes.
Yeah, that
In
was
fact,
disappointing.
there was nothing out on the train yard at all except trains. I'm there for the other bullshit.
Yeah, last year
Last
they had
year,
a little fire going. They had a hobo. They had a little band that was.
playing to teddy bears and possibly children. It was quite odd. And that was not there this year. And I was openly disappointed. But I mean, maybe I have to volunteer at this event next year to teach
I
people
mean,
about
that's the
hobo
thing. If
codes.
you want to improve it,
I got to do it myself. Oh, I don't have the energy. Okay. So that was all very fun. And then we went over to the St. Paul. No, it's the Twin Cities
Twins-
Model Rail Museum.
yeah, something like
Model
that.
Train
Model
Museum.
train, model, yeah.
I think I always think it's model railway, but it's model train. And for their spooky night trains event, which is that not all of the lights are on inside the museum full of model trains, but they also do like little Halloween displays. And God, I love many things.
They're so cute. They have pumpkins hidden all over in their little trains.
They do like one of the tracks is like a big Lego setup, and that periodically changes. So it had like different Halloween scenes. Always a lot of Marvel. There's a big crossover, I think, between the Marvel community and the Lego community. But
if you live in the area when you love Legos, they have like a Lego club, which is who I assume is responsible for like creating the because it
I
was
think
completely
so.
different this year. So I assume that club probably works on it and changes it, and it's probably really fun if you really like Legos.
I will say for both museums, now that we went to them 2 years in a row, it was not quite as exactly the same as I expected it to be. Like that, I thought we were going to go to the Transportation Museum and we were going to see like the same cardboard skeleton taped to the same boxcar, right? But no, they mixed it up.
It was
Both
a little
of them
different.
did.
Yeah, they had a man singing, so that was interesting, as opposed to the band. Yeah, I liked it. I wish they had like new merch, but it's a small museum, so
We did tell the Model Train Museum. They were so impressed with our sweatshirts from the other museum that they're now considering making Halloween shirts, which we were like, well, we'll buy them. So you should.
Yeah, immediately like, yeah, if you make that, I will buy it.
I would like to just point out that friend of the part Arden couldn't join us because she was too scared. And it's really, I don't know that I should, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have shared her personal secrets.
It is spooky train day, so
she heard there would be like a stuffed witch or a plastic skeleton sitting in the train car, and she was like, "Are you kidding me?
I can't do that. That's too scary.
I'm not made of stone." Yeah, so that's a little embarrassing for her. I'm so determined to spread this rumor.
It's because she's so young.
It's you said it, not me. I'm so determined to spread this rumor that she was too scared to go shoot the least scary thing that has ever happened. Unless you find me pretending to be into trains and then telling old men that trains are like cute and precious just to like kind of bother them. If you find that scary, then you won't like Spooky Train Day.
Yeah, stay away from our group.
Where I'm like, oh, it's adorable. And they're kind of like, I appreciate the enthusiasm, but not the language. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
I have an update, but I have to run and get it because I don't have it right in front of me. So hang on one second.
Okay.
Okay, what I had to grab was a get well gift that I received. I can't believe these are still rolling in. You guys are so sweet. This is from Rachel Link. Rachel made this adorable card that has a little desert scene. There's an alien. It says, I believe in you. Fantastic. Rachel says, I hope your recovery is going well. And it is. I would say not completely well yet, so I appreciate this card, but it is going well. Rachel also sent a few things along with it, including a moth. I assume this is a Mothman sticker that says Nocturnal, which is very cute. A little pin, book pin. It's a book and it says books, which is adorable. This is from Jack Rabbit Studio in Syracuse. I love it. And then a little sticker that says, it's like one of those hello, my name is stickers. And it says, hello, I'm a mediocre white cis male's nightmare. Which,
Well, there you go.
delightful. Really made my day. Thank you, Rachel. I also realized, and I have to apologize, that I missed someone in my roundup of people who sent me get well gifts, and it's your mom. I cannot believe I
Oh,
forgot to
yeah.
thank your mom for sending me a squishmallow, which is what's funny and kind of sad is that literally the squishmallow is right in front of me because I have it on my desk. It fits. I have like a green and pink and yellow sort of decoration thing going on with my desk, and the squishmallow is a little lemonade squishmallow, which matches perfectly. So it's on my desk. Yet I still forgot to say thank you to your mom. I love it. I think I was just too caught up in trying to keep all of the cards straight and not forget one.
It's just
That
the
I forgot
squishmallow
your
is
mom.
such a part of your life. You can't imagine life without it.
Actually, that's true. I cannot.
It's just,
She's
it's
so
just
cute.
part
She's
of the
got little
routine.
eyelashes. It's actually the first Squishmallow. I've purchased many a Squishmallow for other people, but I've never gotten one myself or bought one for myself. So my inaugural Squishmallow came from your mom, and I love it so much. So thank you so
Baby's
much,
first
Mama
squishmallow.
Walker. Baby's first Squishmallow, that is right. So I don't think I've forgotten anyone else who sent me something, but if I did, please tell me. It will not hurt my feelings. In fact, I will feel horrible for hurting yours. But I think I got everybody. People who sent me books and cards and everything else. So sweet of you, and I appreciate it so much. And it really helped. It truly did help my recovery just to know that people were thinking of me and hopefully missing this podcast. And hopefully we don't have to take any more health related I'm not going to promise we're not going to take another hiatus, but hopefully we don't have to take another health related hiatus for either of us anytime soon.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
Ooh, I wanted to add for people in the area that if you have old toy trains, like maybe your kids grew up or whatever, that the Twin Cities Model Train Museum will take them if you don't know what to do with them. And even if they don't like run anymore, they're all train nerds. They'll fix them.
Yeah.
So I actually brought a bin of stuff that my brother had as a kid and donated that to them. So I don't know if that's like rotting in your basement. That's something you can do.
Yeah.
And then kids will play with it and it'll be fun.
Yeah. Give it to people who fucking love trains. That's the best place for it.
Okay, now I think we can actually talk about Unsolved Mysteries. Ooh, except that I wanted to add that, so last episode we talked about our review of the Unsolved Mysteries doc Behind the Legacy. That is now streaming on more things now. It's on Tubi. I think it might be even on YouTube. It's on demand. It's very easy to find. So if you wanted to watch that, there's more options.
I think now that it's on YouTube, and the folks over at Film Rise, plug your ears. I do think there have been some clips shared in our Facebook group of some of the key moments that people liked. So if you want a little preview, head over to our Facebook group.
I.e., Robert Stack struggling with that dog.
That's basically it. Yeah,
that's the best part.
The best part.
Okay, so we are on, what is it, season 8, episode 6?
Yes, this is a Christmas episode apparently, which we don't find out till the very last second.
Yeah, that was random. I don't know if they just had that footage and they're like, throw that in.
I don't know. Some of the mysteries in this are fucking depressing as hell to include in your Christmas special, Unsolved Mysteries, but par for the course.
Yep. Well, you go first this week.
And it's a sea monster.
I'm so jealous. This is such a good one.
The luck of the draw. I get the sea monster. Liz gets the brutal murder. So we are in Cadborough Bay, Victoria, British Columbia, and we are talking about the sea monster known as Caddy, who is thought to be a Cadborosaurus, which I don't know if that's made up due to Cadborough Bay.
I
Very funny.
assume.
Very funny.
I will say right now, I completely believe in this thing.
Oh, 100%. I believe in basically every sea monster because the ocean is fucking deep as
It's
hell. Most of the
mysterious.
earth is not only underwater, but is so dark that like people have not explored it. There could be fucking anything down there.
Yeah, the pressure of going down deep into the ocean is like we've only sort of recently been able to even withstand that much pressure. So like who the fuck knows what's down there?
Yeah,
Uh so and this has some photographic evidence as well.
it does. So
Pretty compelling.
the Cadborosaurus, also known as Caddy, is a mysterious serpent-like creature that is said to live in Cadborough Bay in British Columbia. And at the beginning of this, Robert's text sort of gives us a rundown of some of the lake/sea monsters we might be aware of. So obviously Nessie, Ogopogo, a favorite of our podcast.
Yeah, yeah. Ogo bogo.
I forget which other ones, but we get sort of, and then lumped in there is Caddy, which is kind of a cute name. So in 1937, one of the boats from a British Columbian whaling station harpooned a sperm whale several miles off the coast and brought it to shore. In the whale's stomach, so they're talking about how sperm whales have 3 huge stomachs, which is kind of gross, and they like gut them on the ship, the deck of the ship. And so in one of the stomachs of this sperm whale, they see a creature that was very strange and unlike, so these are experienced whalers. They've seen lots of fucking weird shit inside the bellies of whales. This is like something that this is unlike anything they've ever seen before. So they found the carcass of this strange creature. They laid it out and photographed it, and we get to see a picture of it. I'm going to struggle to describe this. It is black and white. It's a little blurry, but what we see is like a long serpent like animal with a head that I don't really know how to. It honestly kind of looks like a cartoon dinosaur head. It's a little odd, and the tail is sort of like a, I don't know. It's like got slits. It's almost like a butterfly wing is kind of how I would describe it.
Mm.
It's very interesting, and you can't really tell, but it kind of looks like it has 4 short little fins where like legs would be if it was a animal that walked um on land. It was probably the worst description ever, but you can Google it. The remains of Caddy is what you're looking for. So James Wakelin, who was then 24 years old, saw the creature in 1937, and he's interviewed for the show. And he seems like a no nonsense fellow, to be honest. I don't think he's making this up. Like, like some people accuse the fishermen of
No.
doing. He said he has no idea what the creature is. It measured 12 feet long. It had like a sort of a horse or camel like head and a snake like body. It had a very strange tail.
Hmm.
The whalers were so interested in what this might be that they sent it to a local museum, and the museum director, after examining it, decided that it was a sperm whale fetus and threw it away. However, that doesn't really hold up for some people because they're like, these guys have been whaling forever. They've cut sorry, this is gross. They've cut a lot of whale fetuses out of whale bellies, and they know what they look like, and they thought that this was strange enough to bring it to a museum. So it's probably not a sperm whale fetus. Also, you can kind of just look at it and tell that it's not a whale fetus. It doesn't look anything like a whale. And it's also huge. I don't know, like, at what point in the development of a whale fetus they start to look like a whale, but this is not, I mean,
It's very long and skinny. It's more like a sea snake that has some fins.
yeah.
It's not like a elongated whale or I don't
It doesn't look anything
know.
like a whale. So, further investigation between the picture and a picture of an actual fetus showed that they were absolutely not the same. Unfortunately, by then it was too late as the carcass had already been disposed of. Some believe, however, that the photograph could be a hoax, and they bring up Nessie because at this point in history, we knew that the famous photograph of the Loch Ness monster is fake. But that does not explain the hundreds of sightings of Caddy that have occurred in the last 60 years. And so we hear about some of them. And one expert says, like, these people aren't talking to each other. They don't know each other. If this was a hoax, it's the most elaborate hoax in history because so many people have seen what they think is the sea monster. We hear from one of them. So in 1968, William Hogland was sailing in a remote cove when he and his sons netted what they believed was a baby caddy. He made a sketch of the creature due to having no camera because he was planning to take it to a place several miles away that would observe the creature and try to determine what it was. However, William felt that it might die during the transport, and he got upset by that thought and took pity on the animal and threw it back in the water, which I thought was really sweet.
It seems like a very Canadian moment where he was like, I just can't kill this unknown beast.
He said that he had it in a bucket, and he sort of like peeked into the bucket like maybe a couple hours on their journey, and it hissed at him, and he was like, "Oh, I can't kill this little fella," and so he threw it overboard. Over the years, Canadians have given Cadborosaurus a mascot-like status. However, at least 6 times a year, citizens see what they believe is a caddy. Um, with the help of, I thought this was kind of cool. So the Unsolved Mysteries got a paleontologist to help them add computer animation to the photo of the supposed caddy carcass that was in the whale. And it's actually kind of good. Like,
It's not bad. Considering the age of when this would have been on TV, it's really not bad. Like, I watched this terrible movie last night that was on the Sci-Fi channel in, I think, 2001. And oh my god, did this look 1,000 times better than that? So yeah. No,
yeah,
I was impressed. I was impressed.
I thought it was good. It seemed, I mean, as scientific as you could be from this like fuzzy photograph. They created this animation of what might be the skeleton of the creature that was pictured, and it's basically a long snake with a snappy head and little tiny fins, and they even made it move kind of how it might go through the water, because a lot of people who see caddies, they see what they describe as loops, like the loops of the body either coming out of the water or like slithering just below the water. And so the body being long and snake like sort of lends itself to what these people are seeing, and they kind of show in the animation what that would look like. It would have several hundred vertebrae, which whales do not have several hundred vertebrae. So take that, fucking whatever your name was.
I
Uh,
can't believe he just threw it away.
I
At least,
know.
like,
At least preserve it,
give it to a freak show. What's wrong with
or
you?
take some better photos. I don't know. So
Boo.
Terry Osland is another eyewitness who was walking her dog down a path towards the beach when her dog became afraid of something on the shore. Terry then saw what she thought was a horse-like face looking at her. It then dropped below the water. She remembered its like eyes. I mean, she had a very like vivid recollection of this. Damian Grant and Ryan Green, who I swear to God, I did not go back and look at the Ogopogo episode again, but I swear these two were like a carbon copy of two witnesses in the Ogopogo. Like there was two dudes in sweaters in the Ogopogo one,
Yeah.
and there's two dudes in sweaters in this one. It was hilarious.
That's just Canada.
I guess. So they're college friends, and they said that they saw a strange head that came out of the water about 60 feet away. They believed that it was the head of a caddy. A pilot named James Wells claims that he saw a caddy while flying over the bay. He claims that it was an odd looking hoop like creature and that it was moving about 40 miles per hour. So, although some scientists claim that the creature does not exist, the people who have seen the creature are certain that it is real.
As am I.
Yeah. I'm looking at the Unsolved Mysteries wiki to see if there's any updates, and surprise, surprise, there are not. This remains unsolved.
Huh. Weird. Well, look, we say this every time, but the ocean is just full of terrors. So I don't see why not. This just seems to be a big sea snake thing.
Yeah,
We just haven't
discovered it yet.
given it a scientific name. It's out there, chomping away.
Ooh. Have you seen the footage of the Bigfoot? This is kind of old news at this point, but the Colorado the people that
Yes.
filmed the Bigfoot from their train going through Colorado.
I have a theory.
What's your theory? That is some dude in a suit playing a joke?
I think it's just a guy in camo.
Oh, interesting.
I don't think it's an intentional hoax. I think it just creates that effect.
When you're so far away. Maybe his camo is just a couple sizes too big.
It's not like the best grainy. It's kind of grainy, right? Like it's not the best resolution footage, and
Mhm.
you can see something that's like man-sized walking around that kind of blends in with the environment. And I think it's just someone
It moved
hunting or
like a
whatever.
human. I
Yes,
thought it moved very human-like.
it has a human gait. Yeah,
But the sea monster thing, I believe of sea monsters, or I would believe sea monsters way before I would believe Bigfoot, because where is Bigfoot hiding? Like, you know,
well, that's
but
why he's a ghost,
well, I mean,
Samantha.
that's why he's an interdimensional being who can shapeshift into a
Yeah,
moth. We know. But sea monsters, I think, are real and actual sea
yeah,
monsters and not time traveling interdimensional beings because they can just slither into the depths of the ocean and we would never know that they
yeah.
were there.
I mean, what people were seeing, calling sea monsters back in the day turned out to be giant squids or colossus squids. We just didn't know that that was a thing. So, did you see this footage of someone scuba diving by the like egg of a giant squid? Like the
No,
egg is like bigger than a human.
that's terrifying. I'm Googling this right
A-
now.
And it's like you can see it's like a clear eggy sack. That's wild.
Giant squid egg. Ah! That's terrifying.
See, that's what's in the ocean,
Yeah,
everybody.
the sea monsters are totally real. This is fucking wild.
Yeah. So,
Oh
think
wow,
about that.
that's really scary.
Blog about
Um,
that, bitch.
all right, you have a horrible, brutal murder.
Oh my
Merry
god, this one is
Christmas.
so horrible. I did not take my own notes. I've been like so much better about that, or I was before the hiatus. We'll see if I ever get back to it. But I was like, this is sad as hell. I'm just gonna read the Unsolved Mysteries wiki. I don't want to take notes on that.
I think that's
This
fine.
is this is the case of Sherry Hart, back in January 15th of 1984. So 24-year-old Sherry Hart was the divorced member of a 6-year-old April. We do hear from April a few times, and God damn, it's sad. Okay.
I know.
So on the evening of January 15th, 1984, she disappeared after she planned to meet a date in Ashe County, North Carolina restaurant, who never showed up. Authorities found no evidence of foul play in the case, even though friends had seen her that night. Rumors surfaced that she had run off to Florida with a lover. I hate this. Um, I mean, we find out that that's not true, but
Of
also
course
just
it's not.
like,
She would never leave her daughter.
yes, but that's like a horrible thing. Like her daughter really thought that and really thought like, oh, she must have hated me and was willing to like. She was 6, right? Okay. Anyway, whatever. It's terrible. So that was the rumor that was going around. But anyway, 11 months later, authorities were at the bottom of a 2,000-foot cliff that locals call the jumping off place, which I have to say is extremely chilling. I don't know why. Something about the phrasing of
I
that.
do not like it, especially given what we know.
The jumping off place. Anyway, if you need a title for your horror book that involves a cliff, there you go.
Yeah, or
Um,
like aliens somehow. Like, doesn't it seem like the jumping off place is like, I don't know, the creepy ghost town that you roll into for whatever reason, and it's like the people are kind of weird, and they have the jumping off place, and it turns out that's where the aliens come and like abduct them.
oh.
Yeah, workshop
See,
that.
and you think you couldn't do creative writing. You just spitballed that right out.
Okay, there's
That's a
coming up with an
story right
idea
there.
and writing it are two totally different things.
Wow, that's true,
So
but
feel
I
free to take that idea if
couldn't
you actually know
tell.
how to write.
Feel free to write it and send it in for our zine. Okay.
Yeah, write that short story. Someone please.
Someone write the jumping off place and send it in to perhaps it's you podcast, gmail.com. Okay. So they found her body. Guess what? She hadn't run off. She was brutally murdered. So investigators reopened the case and they found a witness who reported that Sherry was with 2 schoolmates the night of her disappearance, Richard Bear and Jeffrey Burgess. Bear's brother, that's Richard, had once dated her, so they kind of knew who she was. They were brought in for questioning, but they were not arrested until the police received more information from witnesses. Confronted with this information, Burgess told the police that Sherry went joyriding with him and Bear, and at some point they pulled off to the edge of the highway about a quarter of a mile from the cliff, where she asked to make a rest stop. Okay, now you get a reenactment of sexual assault, or yeah. Anyway, it's hard to watch. This is a Christmas episode. All right.
Okay,
Okay.
Unsolved Mysteries.
because Bear follows Sherry's into the woods and then makes unwanted sexual advances at her. She's like pushing him off, like yelling and screaming, and she runs to the other guy like, help me, help me. And you're like, oh my God. So she asks Burgess to protect her from him, and then the other guy, like charges out of the woods and strikes her on the head with a handgun.
Yeah, these dudes. Oh my
Oh my
god.
God. Anyway, so then they drive to the cliff. Bear then allegedly pushed her out of the car and pushed her off the cliff to her death. Burgess claims that Bear threatened to kill him and his family if he went to the police with this information. He led investigators to the area where Sherry was initially assaulted. Her checkbook and other personal items were located there, so that sort of corroborated at least some of his story. You're always kind of suspicious when, like, one guy is like, oh, it was completely the other person, but
Yeah.
who knows? He and Bear were charged with her murder on March 29th, 1985. Unfortunately, 4 months later, on July 19th, 1985, Bear escaped from prison where he was being held, becoming a fugitive from justice. And Burgess' trial is not going to begin until he's like rearrested. I don't get it.
I don't understand.
I guess they don't have evidence without him, but I don't know. Whatever. They were like, "Oh, your friend escaped. You're free to go." I was like, "What?"
I know. Well, I wonder if it has something to do with the fact, and I'm not a legal expert, but you have like a right to confront your accuser. So if their primary evidence is the
Oh,
confession of the co-conspirator, I feel like without the co-conspirator, they
they have
could get
nothing.
that thrown, like
Yeah.
his defense could get it thrown out, I think, because he's not there, so you can't cross-examine him.
I mean, I
So
think that really is the whole case.
yeah, I
Like,
think so.
other than finding the checkbook and whatever in the woods, which in and of itself doesn't prove anything, it just, it just lines up with the story. But the story is the whole case. So if you don't have that, then I guess you have nothing. But it is, upsetting.
It's horrible. And
Um,
her daughter saying that when her mom was missing, she thought that maybe it was her fault that her mom had left
I know.
because, like, her mom couldn't handle being a single mom or whatever, was broke my heart into a million pieces. Merry
It's
Christmas.
so sad.
Yes.
And also, like, she's getting that message from
I
somewhere
know,
too.
I
Like,
know.
she's overhearing people gossip, or like
That's what I thought too when I was watching it.
adults should be telling her that this is not her fault and that her mother loved her and her mother would never leave her. Like,
Yep.
she's not getting that reinforcement, right? So she has to like deal with missing her mother all by herself. Ah! Okay. Anyway, so the trial couldn't begin because this asshole escaped. Um, in 1993, Bear was almost arrested in Delaware, but just hours before FBI agents were able to get to his relative's house where he had been hiding, which, shame on this relative for hiding him, honestly. He's escaped and he's not been seen since. There is a $10,000 reward being offered by the case by Sherry's family. I'm guessing that's a lot of money to them.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Goddamn. Okay. So the suspects in this case, Bear and Burgess, had both been charged with Sherry's murder. There is like a description of them. I don't know if it really matters. For some reason, Unsolved Mysteries Wiki just wrote he may disguise himself as a woman. Okay.
Okay, that was not in the episode.
Well,
What?
based on what? Like, anyone could do that at any time. What does that have to do with any, like, okay. Did they do drag or something? Like, why are you telling me that? Okay, anyway. So here are the results. This is sadly unresolved. In June 2002, a judge ordered that fingerprints be taken from a man who's going by Richard Personnel, who they believed was Bear living under a fake name. However, before authorities were locating him, he moved and didn't leave a forwarding address. And apparently, if you
That's
don't,
all it takes.
that's all it takes. If you just don't tell the post office where you're going, the cops can't find you. Okay. Oh, but then he was later located and it was determined it was not him. It was just some other
Oh,
dude.
all right. Well, sorry to that man.
It's believed that Bear may be living under a stolen identity. Oh, yeah. Really? Huh. Okay.
Oh shit.
Sadly, Sherry's mother passed away in 2011 without ever seeing justice for her daughter's murder. Burgess, who never went to trial because they didn't have the other guy, passed away in 2012, which it seems like he would not have been that old. Okay, recently there are unconfirmed witness reports that Bear has returned to North Carolina several times in disguise while visiting relatives' funerals. Other reports have stated that he is living in Ashe County, quote, in plain sight. However,
Go get
he's,
him.
however, he has not been located. Sherry's daughter April is now married with 3 children of her own and continues to search for the killer.
Oh, I'm so upset that she never got justice for her mom.
I know.
It's horrible.
I wish she had, like better family or better adults in her life that could have helped her with that time, because there was 11 months where she really thought that her mom just like pieced out on her and didn't love her.
Yeah, God.
There is Sherry Hart on Find a Grave if you would like to leave a message. There's a couple articles about this. I think it's pretty clear. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. There doesn't seem to be any evidence that it was not these 2 dudes. Nobody even seems to be suggesting that they are innocent or falsely accused, or it's just like that guy got away. So,
God damn.
yeah, that's this case of Sherry Hart. We're sorry, Sherry.
All right. Well, we've got kind of another sad one. So this is the case of Michael Hughes, who was kidnapped by Franklin Delano Floyd. And if that name sounds familiar to you, you may have watched the Netflix documentary The Girl in the Picture, which is about this case.
Oh, shit. Okay, yes, I did watch that, and it's freaky as hell.
It is as depressing. It's a really well done documentary, so I do recommend it. And this is the case, although it's a sort of slightly different angle of the case than is in that documentary. It's still really interesting. So
I didn't even realize this was the same thing, but yeah, okay.
and I think it's because Suzanne, who is the main mystery in the Netflix documentary, isn't mentioned until the very end. So I like, as I was watching this, I was like, that sounds so familiar. Like, did I watch a Dateline about this? No, it was the Netflix documentary.
Okay.
The Girl
That makes
in
a
the
lot
Picture.
of sense. Okay.
Yeah, so Michael Hughes was a 6-year-old little boy. He was living with foster parents when he was kidnapped by Franklin Delano Floyd, who claimed to be his father. We actually hear from Floyd. He does a jailhouse interview with Unsolved Mysteries, and the man should try and look less guilty. I mean, it's like,
okay, you cannot necessarily tell if people are guilty by their demeanor or whatever, but this guy is guilty, and when you're watching him talk, you're like, holy shit, you seem extremely guilty. Like, he's just so creepy that you're like, yeah, I'm getting that he did it. Like, the picture is making sense.
yeah, and it's not even in dispute whether or not he did it. So
No, he's guilty.
Yeah, my advice to him would be try and seem less guilty, because man, oh man, you're not doing yourself any favors. This is his quote: "You're acting like I walked up to a McDonald's, took a strange boy, and walked off with him." Okay,
You did.
you did though.
But also, yeah, I am acting like that because you did. Because you did.
You literally did. You had no right to have this boy. So in reality, despite what Floyd asserts, so Floyd maintains that he is the father of Michael Hughes. That's not the case. Franklin Delano Floyd is not the father of Michael Hughes. In fact, Floyd was convicted of kidnapping Michael and sentenced to more than 50 years in prison. Floyd insists that the boy is alive and safe, but he refuses to tell anyone where Michael is or who is taking care of him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. On September 12th, 1994, Floyd walked into Principal James Davis's office at an elementary school just outside of Oklahoma City. This is what I want to say real quick, is that I think if you didn't, this Unsolved Mysteries episode focuses on trying to find Michael Hughes. And so because of that, it's told the story of Franklin Delano Floyd's crimes is told in a very weird, not chronological way, where at the end you're like, oh shit. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that to begin with.
Yeah.
So, but we start with the kidnapping of Michael Hughes. So Michael Hughes is in foster care. And Hughes walks into the principal's office of Michael's school. And sorry, I lost my place in my notes. Okay, so he walks into Principal James Davis's office. This is an elementary school just outside of Oklahoma City. He claimed to be the father of 6-year-old Michael Hughes. We hear from Principal Davis in the episode. He says that Hughes came in and was acting really nervous. And then he said, quote, "What I'm doing is very difficult. I'm ready to die. If you don't help me, you won't live either." And then he told him he had a gun.
And showed him the
He
gun.
pulled the gun out. He threatened to kill James Davis if he didn't take Floyd to see Michael immediately. So Floyd followed the principal down the hallway to Michael's classroom. He then forced them both into the principal's pickup truck and ordered Floyd. James said Floyd ordered him to drive out to the country.
Hmm.
Once out in the country, Floyd handcuffed James to a tree and left. James Davis was rescued about 5 hours later, but for the next 2 months, there was.
Oh my god. That was 5 hours, man.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, did someone just stumble upon him? Was he able to get out? Like, that is. What if no one ever found him? Terrifying.
5 hours, no food, no water,
Just tied to a
like,
tree.
tied to a tree going, "Wow, I really hope I'm not here at nightfall."
Yeah. We're not
Goddamn.
fucking starved to death out here. So the next 2 months, there was no sign of either Franklin Delano Floyd, or Michael Hughes. Floyd was finally arrested in Louisville, Kentucky, but Michael was nowhere to be found, and Floyd was not saying where he was. This is where it starts to get even wilder. When authorities dug into Floyd's background, they discovered a trail of pathological behavior that began long before the incident with Michael Hughes. About 20 years earlier, Floyd had settled in Oklahoma City using the name Trenton B. Davis. Floyd had a young girl with him, like a child, a little girl, who he told everyone that was his daughter, Suzanne. Floyd moved away 3 years later and for the next decade took Suzanne from town to town, often using an alias. When Susan turned 17, she gave birth to Michael. Floyd claimed to be the boy's father, and then he married Suzanne, the girl he had been claiming was his daughter for 17 years.
Blech. Blech.
Yeah, this is why the Netflix documentary is brutal to watch.
Yeah, it is.
When Michael was 2, Suzanne was killed in a mysterious hit and run accident. Although he was never charged, the prime suspect was obviously Franklin Delano Floyd. After Suzanne's death, Floyd left Michael in foster care and disappeared. Michael's foster parents, Ernest and Merle Bean, no relation, remember him as a child with many difficulties. He was developmentally, he was not at his grade level. He didn't have like the same like muscle control as you would expect for a kid his age. We don't hear if he has any diagnoses, but it's clear that Franklin Delano Floyd was not taking care of Michael properly. Floyd was arrested on a parole violation 6 months after abandoning Michael in foster care. A routine blood test revealed that Floyd was not Michael's biological father. So, which in a way, like, would have been a good thing, I think, that he like would then have no claim to this child whatsoever, except that he went on to kidnap him. So when Floyd got out of jail, he asked that Michael be given back to him, but obviously his request was denied.
Yeah, no. What? No, stop.
6 months later, Floyd kidnapped Michael from his first grade classroom, and that is where the Unsolved Mysteries picked up. And Michael's gone, and what they're trying to do in the Unsolved Mysteries episode is see if anyone can find him, because Floyd is not saying where he is, and he's claiming he's still alive. So we hear from Special Agent Dan Vogel with the FBI in Oklahoma City. He just says that they'd like to have some information from the public indicating where this child could be, or if they know something about him being assaulted or murdered, because they had no evidence either way. Like, there was no trace of this boy. Floyd obviously will not reveal Michael's location. From the start of the case of Michael Hughes, there's one more disturbing twist, and that is that Michael's mother, Suzanne, was not Floyd's biological daughter. Surprise, surprise. In fact, she may also have been kidnapped by Floyd when she was a child. And that is one of the biggest mysteries. And that's kind of what the Netflix documentary centers around, is who's Suzanne. The FBI agent says that one of the biggest mysteries is who this girl is. And we have absolutely no idea. We know that she's not the biological daughter of Floyd. And we feel that there is a very good possibility that this young girl may have been abducted when she was about 3 or 4 years of age. And we would like to find out her true identity, because we do not know. Okay, and then Floyd has a disgusting quote at the end of the episode. He says, "I'm telling you right now, I did her a favor. She was abandoned to me and I raised her. If I could prove it to you, I would. They would try and pin a medal on me for taking her." This is
Ugh, ugh.
disgusting because he fucking assaulted her repeatedly. He abused her, he kidnapped her,
Yeah.
and then probably murdered her.
I'm not sure what he thinks we give medals for, but it's not that.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
Unless he means medal, he means like the electric chair, and he's just like real confused. But
So, authorities were able later on to pin a murder charge on Franklin Floyd in a separate case, the killing of 19-year-old Cheryl Camesso. Floyd was sentenced to death for that crime. And then we do get an update, which is that in 2013, this case was reopened and reviewed by the FBI and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Over the next few years, Floyd was re interviewed and he finally identified the woman as Suzanne Marie Savakis. Floyd also told investigators that he killed Michael Hughes the same day he kidnapped him, and the case is
why?
considered closed. I don't know. I do not know.
That is the. I mean, this man's not well, but why go through all the trouble of kidnapping him? Was that always the plan to murder him? Why?
I don't
Just let
know.
the kid
He
live.
could have went on with his life. Like,
Yes. He was better off without you. Just let him be. I'm not saying I understand, but I sort of see that he felt like he had a personal connection to this child that was not his son, right? Like
right.
that he was born to this woman he kidnapped that he was having a blah, blah with. I sort of get that that's felt like family or something to him, but why fucking kill him? Just leave him alone.
I mean, he's a monster, I guess that's why. But yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Very sad. This is what Unsolved Mysteries wants you to think about on Christmas Day.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas! Okay, now I have a robbery. This was a wanted segment. This goes back to October 30th, 1987, where Postmaster Opal Johnson worked in the small town of, I don't remember how they said this.
I don't remember either.
Epps, Alabama. Look, clearly this is a very small town because she didn't think it was unusual. She didn't know the people coming to the post office because it was hunting season, which means that in general, she knows every single person who comes to the post office. Wild. Okay.
I was a little bit like, is this not Minnesota? Where like, oh, normally I know everybody, but during hunting season, a bunch of out of towners come through
to get their hunting licenses at the post office. So anyway, that day around 11 a.m., two unidentified men entered the post office. We have sketches of both of them. It's one black and one white male. So they originally asked for stamps, but when Opal opened up the stamp drawer, one of them pulled a gun and said, "This is a robbery." They then leapt over the counter and began ransacking the place for money. The black suspect seemed to know a lot about post office operations, like that there would be a safe and blah, blah, blah. He seemed to know his way around. They only got like $700 in cash and stamps.
Okay, honestly, I think the biggest mystery in this one is like, what were they after?
I think they thought there would be more cash there, maybe because it was hunting season.
At a post office? I mean,
I don't know.
They're not dealing in large sums of money at this small town post office. Like, also, maybe people don't know this, but you are risking it all when you commit a crime against the Postal Service. That is a fucking federal ass crime. You are going to jail for a long time. Do not commit any kind of crime against the post office. I'm telling you right now.
People that work at the post office have it hard enough. They're always underfunded. There's always a bunch of boomers in line complaining about the government and that if oh yeah, we definitely want healthcare to work like this. Oh my god. Why? Yeah. Like
they never understand how postage is calculated, and they always bring in a box that's a weird ass shape, and they're so surprised that it costs so much to ship it. Yeah.
Yes. So people who work at the post office, their job is hard enough, and you do not need to be going in there robbing them. It is very rude and uncalled for. And also, part of your bounty is going to be in stamps. Good luck moving that around. I guess send your mom a lot of letters for free. Anyway, but what breaks this a bigger case is that the men then decided to take Opal hostage.
Why?
This is this is very stupid. And also it turns well, I'll just skip to the results. The only reason this is still an open case, the statute of limitations has come and gone for the robbery, but not for kidnapping. So don't kidnap people either. Anyway, so they force her into her car. They drive out to the country. Um, she was guessing that maybe they had one of them had like lived in the area or was somewhat familiar with the area, but also she doesn't recognize them, and I don't think their accents were right.
She had a very thick Southern accent, and she said that they didn't, so they didn't think that they were from the South.
Yeah. So after about a 10-minute drive, which she describes as the most frightening minutes of her life, yeah, no shit, that would be horrible. They pulled into a remote clearing by Goggins Lake, 3 miles from town. After taking her rings and credit cards, they forced her into the trunk of the car, and so she could hear them arguing, and one of them wanted to dump her and the car into the lake, and the other one was like, no, there's absolutely no reason to kill her
You're the
after.
dumbest people alive. You have at this point committed, I mean, it's a serious federal crime to rob the post office, but you made away with like $1.50. Then you up it to kidnapping the postmaster general, or the I mean, not the post, whatever, the postmaster.
Postmaster, yeah.
And now you're gonna murder the
You're gonna
postmaster.
murder. Yeah. Anyway, so she can hear she can hear them arguing about what they're gonna do for her. But and she is clearly so proud of this, and I would be too. She takes the tire iron that's in the trunk and uses it to like break the lock from inside and escapes. And bitch, I would be bringing that up to every person I met for the rest of my life.
100%. Opal
Like,
is
oh,
badass.
also, this is, like an older woman. I'm sure they definitely discounted her ability to escape. And she's in there cracking locks with a tire iron, which I think she's calling a tire tool, which I don't know, for some reason was funny to me. So she's like in there jibbying the lock and just gets out and like runs away while they're squabbling about what to do with her. Anyway. Oh, okay. They're not still there arguing while she escapes. She hears them arguing. I guess the guy that was like, "No, don't kill her, just leave her."
It took her like an hour to get out, I think.
Yeah, because then she can go to the police and she gives them a description. Anyway, one of the suspects was spotted in Ohio. Blah blah blah. Her credit card was used to make purchases in Franklin and Toledo, Ohio. There's descriptions of both the suspects. I just don't really think that's that interesting. The case is still open because of the kidnapping. If they had just robbed the post office of a bunch of stamps, we no one would be looking for them and they could go on with their lives. There is a $25,000 reward. Sadly, Opal passed away in 2010. The suspects remain large. Opal, you were a badass. I hope you brought up your escape from the trunk of a car to literally everyone, because I would be so proud of myself. And she seemed like she and she got to be on Unsolved Mysteries, man. You know that, like,
so cool.
You know that church group like all got together to watch the episode that Opal was going to be on, right? Like, this is a very small town.
He's so sick.
This is going to be like the news of like the year at least. I loved in the Behind the Legacies doc when they talked about how, because they often were filming in small towns or just areas where like TV crews are never going to go, particularly before reality TV. Like, no one's ever heard of Epps, Alabama. But so when Unsolved Mysteries shows up, they would get like red carpet treatment. Like the whole town would be there and to be like, oh my God, right? Because I cannot emphasize this enough, everyone watched Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
So, R.I.P. Opal, you were a legend. I'm glad you got out of this stupid botched robbery unharmed. Don't rob the post office.
Do not. It's a really bad idea.
All right, now we have one more.
A lot of this. There's an unnecessary update about those two women who were like the modern Thelma and Louise or whatever, who were robbing dudes in hotel rooms.
And they're specifically like, these women are not heroes and you shouldn't idolize them.
And I'm like, oh, too late.
But I do love that the update told us the reason they got caught was not even their wanted poster, but that their wanted poster got put on t-shirts, and then someone saw a picture of one of the t-shirts and realized they knew. And I was like,
I need
that's
one of those t-shirts so
I
fucking bad.
so badly.
So
Please.
bad.
Please.
I need it to live. I'm telling you. Yeah, it's amazing. I also love that we were talking about in the how we wanted the nudist colony segment in the behind the legacy documentary so that we could
Yes.
see the like framing shots where they were covering up people's junk. And in the Thelma and Louise wanted segment, there was a
Yes.
shot of a man like handcuffed to a bed, spread eagle style, and then the one woman, I forget their names, who is like lounging in a chair next to him with just like the gun pointed at him. And then it's a shot from behind, and her head is covering up his jaw.
It's amazing.
So good. So good.
Should have gotten
So,
an Emmy just for that shot alone.
absolutely. So, you get an update about that, and you get fucking 5 mysteries. So, this is a jam packed episode. So, we are looking for the family of Jean Martin. This is kind of a short one. So, this is a lost love about a sort of famous case that was known as the Miss Subways. So this was an infant that was abandoned on a subway in Long Island. So from childhood, um, New York resident Jean Martin knew that she was adopted. However, for years, her adopted family would not tell her about her biological family members and what happened to them. After pressing her family for years and having a family and children of her own, like teenagers, in July of 1992, she finally got her adopted mother to tell her where she came from. And her adopted mother, at least in the reenactment, says, You're going to hate me when you hear this. And I'm kind of like, why would she hate you? You gave her a loving home. Like,
Yeah, I don't know why. I think she wanted to protect her from the information that she was abandoned, but I don't know why she would be like mad at her. I
like
mean, it's got to be so rough to hear you were
oh,
abandoned, right? Like
100%.
that's brutal, but it's like that's not your fault.
No, and Jean already knew that she was adopted. So, I don't
It's
know.
just such a sad story, and I'm sure she wanted to spare her the heartache of that, but
Right, right. But Jean wanted the truth, and so she finally got her adopted mother to tell her that what happened, which was that she had been abandoned on a subway as an infant. So after overcoming the initial shock, she began searching out details about her abandonment because, and what she talks about is like would be extremely shocking to realize, which is that your name is not your real name, like the name you were given at birth. You don't know your birthday. You don't know anything about your family. Um it's just like
which
like suddenly everything you thought you knew about yourself, which are just like very basic facts, like your name, your birthday, like all these things that just like are key to like your understanding of your person are just like, oh, no one knows.
yeah, and at least in the reenactment, one of the reasons she was insisting about learning about her biological family was she was like, I need this. I have kids. Like, I need my like genetic health information. Like, I
Right.
need to know what runs in my family and stuff. Like, it's like, oh, you have like, there's nothing.
We don't know anything about you. We actually know
Yeah,
less than you thought.
right.
Because she has a name on her birth certificate. She has a birthday on her birth certificate. I don't know how they picked it, but like that's not. I mean, it's real in that it's been her whole life. But suddenly, I'm sure she has these feelings like everything I thought I knew about myself is not
Right.
true. So that's really hard. But she decided to sort of channel that shock into action, and she went to the library to look through microfiche. And eventually,
Love it. I love it every time. I
she
love it so much.
she found a 1955 newspaper article about her abandonment because it was all over the news. It was this big thing. She found a picture of herself in the arms of a police officer shortly after she was found. And the newspapers called her Miss Subways. So, what had happened is that on December 11th, 1955, a young, lonely looking woman entered the subway on Coney Island. She was wearing a short red jacket over a red dress. She walked slowly and carried a battered suitcase. She sat by herself in the lead car. It was kind of a slow time. There was not that many people, but there were other passengers, and they remembered that she opened the suitcase and kind of shielded the contents with her body. She removed something, they could not tell what. I think people generally in the subway are kind of trying to mind their own business, but they did see her take something out and then exit the subway at the fourth stop. Seconds later, they heard crying, and when they went to investigate, they found 5-day-old Jean wrapped in a blanket with a bottle
Oh,
of milk tucked inside the blanket. Passengers gave police a vague description of the woman, but no one knew who she was, and no one knew why she abandoned Jean. So the story became myth subways, and it was news around the city. But her mother was never located and she never came forward. Decades later, Jean believes her mother genuinely wanted what was best for her, leaving her in a place where she would easily and quickly be found and taken in by the authorities. She
I think
hopes.
that's totally true, and I think also the milk, right?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. I think that says that like she wanted her to be safe, someone to find her right away, and to give her probably what little she had.
yeah, this is someone who's not in a position to take care of a kid. Not she's not trying to harm the kid.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like Jean understood that and believed it completely. So Jean hopes that someone will remember a young woman having and then losing a child around the time that she was abandoned. Her mother would now be in her mid 70s. So, according to the Unsolved Mysteries wiki, this case is still unsolved. There was a woman
Wow.
who saw a Newsweek story about Jean and identified the police officer in the photograph as her uncle, who had since passed away. Jean was happy to find out what had happened to him. However, she was never able to
Aw,
locate her birth mother or any relatives. And I don't know if
wow.
she's still alive, if at this point she could do like ancestry.
Right.
Not sure. There's no other information, but I hope, maybe at this point she's found something.
Yeah. Yeah. I would assume,
Yeah.
you know. And it's also kind of a private matter, so
It's
if
none of our business. I mean, obviously I'm a nosy bitch and want to know, but like whatever. It's none of our business.
yeah, yeah. That she, if the public isn't able to help her with her, quest, then
Yeah, that's her business
that's
at
her
that point.
business. Yeah.
So,
Okay, that's the end of the episode. We got to rate it.
okay, so I'm gonna try and remember our categories. Mysteriousness is number one.
Okay, kind of mysterious. We have some unsolved shit here that even today we still don't know.
We do have some unsolved shit here. Yeah,
Oh, that's not a phrase.
I think it's quite
Uh,
mysterious. I mean, I totally believe the sea monster.
Same.
I think that's mysterious.
Same.
We don't know who Jean's mother is.
We don't know
Michael
where these
Hughes was never
post
found.
office
Okay,
bandits are.
they're still on the run. That other guy's still on the run. Michael Hughes was never found. He is presumed dead, and
Ugh.
Franklin Delano Floyd did admit to murdering him, but he's never been found. So that's
And
mysterious. We don't.
nobody really was charged with. We basically know who killed Sherry, but they were never charged. And where's that one dude?
Yeah, so this is fucking full of mysteries. So thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Reenactments.
I actually thought the CGI lake monster was not bad.
Oh yeah, props to that for that one. That was
And
good.
the acting in the Miss Subway's reenactment where the mom tells her that she was abandoned. Actually, I thought that acting was quite good.
Yeah, that was good.
So I'm gonna say thumbs up.
I liked it. Thumbs up. Fashion.
Plus, you get to see an old lady break out of a trunk. I mean, you don't
slowly
get to
jog
see
away.
that on every show.
This-
Not everything is bringing you what Unsolved Mysteries is bringing you, which is Canadians talking about sea monsters, and then some of the most depressing shit you ever heard in your life, and then an old lady jimmying a lock and getting out of a car. Like, it's just a very mixed bag.
Yeah, it's really good. I don't know about fashion though.
Now, I will say that the sweatshirts the Canadian guys were wearing are not like
fine.
flashy. They're just plain. Like, everything's just kind of plain. I'm gonna say thumbs down.
Yeah, I think that's a thumbs down. And Robert Stack.
Okay, because this ends with this amazing clip that you sent me where suddenly it's Christmas and Robert Stack wishes you a happy holidays and says something like, may your holidays be happy and all your mysteries be solved or something. Which is my new phrase. May all your mysteries be
solved.
So he gets a thumbs up for
you,
that.
that tune has been stuck in my head all day. All day I'll be going along and I'll just be like, may all your mysteries be solved. Oh, I love it so much. Yeah, it's just out of nowhere. It's suddenly a Christmas episode. Like, wow, I'm fucking depressed as hell. Thanks, Unsolved Mysteries. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. So he gets a thumbs up for that.
Absolutely. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
So I would say on a Robert Stack scale of 0 to 5 Robert Stacks, I did like this episode. I thought it was full of mysteries.
Yeah.
There's a fucking ocean monster. I was gonna say river
Yeah.
monster. I think it's because we've been watching that show on.
Oh. I think I've said lake several times. It's also not.
It's
It's in
a
the
really
ocean.
technically it's a bay. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I think this is depressing, but the variety cannot be beat. There are some very solid cases here. I'm always happy to talk about some sort of sea serpent thing. So I'm gonna say four? Four Robert
I think
Sacks?
this is a solid 4 episode. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I wish it was maybe less depressing, but you know
Well,
what?
it is Unsolved Mysteries.
That's the way the cookie crumbles in the world of things
That's
and
true.
sad of the world of things and sadness. Okay. Now is time for the found loves segment.
I really don't know that I have a found love. I mean,
That's
my
that's
found love
fine.
is all of the fun stuff we've been doing in spooky season. What do you have?
Great. Love it. Okay, so I want to talk about the best zine that I've ever seen in my life.
Oh,
I listeners may or may not know that sometimes I make and sell zines at Zine Fest, and I was at the Insert Name Zine Fest over the summer, and there was a new seller there who I had not seen before, who goes by TV Grime, and they have made this. Oh my! It's just I'm like so excited to even talk about it. It's like a TV guide. It's the most elaborate zine I've probably ever seen. It's like
oh,
literally like a TV guide where it's printed on like newsprint paper, but it is reviews and like personal reflections of like every Halloween episode of television that this person has seen.
oh, that's amazing.
And it has like old TV guy ads and okay, wait, let me find what also the things that they're rating the episodes on are amazing. So here's the ratings are out of 4, but then they also are marked. These are their categories, which we should have thought of for doing this show. So autumnal ambiance,
Amazing.
to the extent to which the episodes capture the harvest season. Are the outdoor scenes crisp and delicious? Are tables accordingly decorated with pumpkins, Indian corn, horns of plenty? Do characters dress appropriately for chill weather? So that's the autumnal ambiance. That's hard to say.
That's
Category.
solid. That's solid.
Okay, spooky vibes. The extent to which the episode demonstrates reverence for the Halloween holiday. To what degree are the sets decorated with seasonal objects? How elaborate are the characters' costumes? Is effort made to ensure the lighting and cinematography are acceptably moody, dim, eerie, etc.?
So much thought was put into this.
No, it is such a labor of love. Literally, I was looking through this at their table and I told this person that it was a masterpiece, and they just sort of looked at me like, yeah, okay, lady. Like, fright factor. The extent to which the episode utilizes characteristics of the horror genre. How scary is the episode with consideration to its usual format and established canon? To what degree, if any, does the episode break the series' usual grounding in reality by incorporating elements of supernatural and or ethereal? And then overall quality.
Okay.
It tells you there's a channel guide symbol for each episode, which tells you like at least when this was made, where you would be able to stream it. I think everything has to be prior to like 2004. So it's also like a lot of TV that was popular, but we've completely forgotten about. Like, I'm looking at an episode right now from Third Rock from the Sun. Does anybody remember how much that was like beloved, but then just, you know, has vanished?
Does anyone remember the Halloween episode of Third Rock from the Sun?
Well, you can read a review of it.
Incredible.
Or like The Commish.
Okay.
Again. But it is such a like, again, yeah, it's just such a labor of love. It's so intense in a good way. It's absolutely something that I immediately was like, damn, I am really jealous I did not do this.
I love it so much.
I think when I first opened it, I opened it to the Halloween episode of Millennium, and I was like, well, I gotta buy this.
This was made for me personally.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, no one talks about this show. And the guy was really like, yeah, great. Somehow I was the like intense weirdo in this conversation about reviewing every Halloween episode of TV you've ever seen. Anyway, I love this thing. If you're listening to this and Halloween is already over, who cares? Get it. It'll give
Halloween
you
is never over. Okay,
also true.
first of all, Halloween is a lifestyle.
It'll give you so much more spooky season material that you didn't even know was out there that you could be incorporating into your life. And it's also just like an amazing object with all these old ads and shit. So you can order this at worksoflove.storeenvy.com. The guy who made it is named Luke Geddes. So there's also a lukegeddes.com. And I
Love it.
just looked, this is cost $16.66. I think that is money very well spent. I also
I
bought one
completely
of
agree.
these for a friend of the pod, Rochelle. I assume that she is sitting around deciding if she should watch the Halloween episode of Dark Angel or Roseanne right now.
As she should.
Oh, I love this thing. Okay. That is gonna wrap it up. I am starting to put together our next zine. So if you have everything that you've made from the zine, oh my god, please send it in. Perhaps it's you, podcast, gmail.com. And yeah, that could be like anything. If you want me to tell you what to do, if you're a person that needs like a very direct assignment, I'll do it.
We'll do
Get
it.
in
Reach
touch.
out. Reach out.
Yeah, we will boss you around. We have a website, it's perhapsyou.com. We have a Facebook group. It's still out there. It still works.
We are going down with the Facebook ship.
Yeah.
We hopped off Twitter. Sorry, but
Yeah, that was just too much of a shit show. Couldn't do it anymore. But I am on Blue Sky, sorta. I'm one of the 5 people on there. So if you want to come, it's very friendly at the moment until like other people sign up. So you could check that out.
enjoy that.
And I will be putting pictures of our train day and our other spooky season stuff up on our Instagram. So look for that.
Check it out.
I think that's it, right?
I think so. Yeah. Keep
All right.
barking and may all your mysteries be solved.
Exactly. May all your mysteries be solved.